Have you ever noticed that the more you try to control life, the more it slips through your fingers? We cling to plans, people, and outcomes, believing that control will calm our fears. But what if it's the very thing fueling them? Buddha once said, "You only lose what you cling to." And yet, when life feels uncertain, we tighten our grip even more. We overthink, we brace for impact, we exhaust ourselves chasing stability that doesn't exist. But here's the truth. Life was never meant to be predictable. The real cause of your stress might not be the chaos. It's your resistance to it. In this video, you'll learn how letting go isn't weakness. It's the gateway to true strength. If you've ever felt tired of holding on, you're not alone. And what you're about to discover could change the way you meet every storm life sends your way. Imagine this. You're gripping a rope tied to something pulling you in the opposite direction. The harder you hold on, the more your hands burn. But still, you don't let go. Why? Because somewhere deep inside, you believe that holding on gives you control. That if you just grip tighter, you can stop life from changing or protect yourself from pain. But what if that very grip is the source of your suffering? There's an old Zen saying, "Let go or be dragged." Simple, brutal, true. So many of us are being dragged, not by life itself, but by our refusal to accept it as it is. Think of how much pain we create by clinging to outcomes, to identities, to the way we thought things should be. We replay conversations that have already ended. We try to rewrite moments that are long gone. We carry old guilt, past betrayals, and future fears like weights strapped to our chest, hoping that if we think about them hard enough, they'll make sense. But they never do, because peace doesn't come from control. It comes from surrender. Now, surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means letting go of the illusion that you were ever in control to begin with. Take a moment to reflect. What are you clinging to right now? A plan that keeps falling apart? A relationship that no longer fits? A version of yourself that's too small for the life you're meant to live? Holding on feels safe, familiar, but it also hurts. And the more tightly you grip, the deeper it burns, like clutching a burning coal. That's how we hold on to pain. We think it defines us, teaches us, protects us, but what it really does is drag us. The Buddha didn't teach that we should suppress our feelings or become numb. He taught us to release our attachment to them. There's a quiet but life-changing difference. Pain is part of life, but suffering is optional. And suffering begins when we resist what is. You might think letting go means becoming passive, but it's the opposite. It's an act of fierce compassion toward yourself. It means you stop resisting the truth of the moment. You stop arguing with reality. You stop swimming upstream in a river that's already flowing in a different direction. Acceptance is not weakness. It's wisdom. Have you ever noticed that when you finally stop fighting what's happening, something softens inside you? It's like a breath you didn't know you were holding suddenly releases. And in that space, something new can grow. Not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because you're no longer trying to force it into a shape it was never meant to take. Letting go is not forgetting. It's not ignoring. It's not resignation. It's choosing peace over control. It's trusting that life, with all its unknowns, has its own rhythm. And sometimes, the things we try hardest to hold on to are the very things we're being asked to outgrow. So next time you feel overwhelmed, don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask instead, What am I clinging to? That single question can change everything. It shifts the focus from victimhood to awareness. It reminds you that your power lies not in what you control, but in what you choose to release. Right now, just pause. Take a breath. Let yourself feel the truth of this moment without trying to change it. Notice if there's any tension in your body, any tightness in your heart. Breathe into it. Don't fix it. Just notice it. That's the first step to letting go. Because real peace doesn't come from having all the answers. It comes from learning how to live in the questions. It's standing calmly in the middle of the unknown, no longer afraid, because you've stopped dragging the weight of what you can't control. Let go, or be dragged. The choice, as always, is yours. Let's imagine your mind like the sky. Vast, open, unshaken. Now think of your thoughts and emotions as the weather. Sometimes light and breezy, other times stormy and wild. But no matter what passes through, the sky itself remains untouched. That's the key to inner peace, to observe without absorbing. Most people live like sponges. They soak up everything: stress from work, comments from others, chaos in the world. They carry it all, unknowingly. Every word, every noise, every judgment becomes a burden. No wonder they feel exhausted, heavy, overwhelmed. But you don't have to live that way. You can become the sky. This doesn't mean shutting down or becoming distant. It means learning the art of witnessing without becoming entangled. It's a quiet strength, one that allows you to see everything clearly without being pulled into the storm. Buddhism calls this mindfulness, pure awareness, not thinking, not analyzing, just seeing. It's the moment you notice your anger rising and pause before you speak. It's when you feel anxious thoughts swirling, but instead of following them, you take a breath and watch them pass, like clouds moving across the sky. This is not indifference. This is mastery. The Buddha said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." It's not just a quote to hang on your wall. It's a survival skill in a noisy, distracted world. When you go through life absorbing every little disturbance, you lose your center. But when you practice observing instead of reacting, you regain control. Not over life, but over yourself. Imagine standing in a crowded marketplace. Voices shout, horns blare, people push past. But inside, you remain still, a calm observer. You hear the noise, but you're not consumed by it. That's the energy we're aiming for. Not numbness, but presence. One of the greatest sources of stress in modern life is the idea that we must respond to everything. Every message, every notification, every opinion. But the truth is, you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Not everything deserves your energy. Next time someone says something hurtful, try this. Pause. Notice the emotion. Don't suppress it, but don't feed it either. Say to yourself, this is just a thought. This is just a feeling. I don't have to believe it. That one breath, that one moment of awareness can save you hours of suffering. The world will always be noisy. People will always have opinions. Emotions will always rise. But you get to choose whether to absorb them or observe them. This choice is your freedom. Mindfulness is not about being perfect. It's about remembering. Remembering that you are not your anger. You are not your fear. You are not your stress. You are the awareness behind all of it, the calm witness, the space in which everything arises and passes away. Think of the ocean. The surface may be choppy. Waves crash. Storms come and go. But deep below, The ocean is still, undisturbed. That stillness is within you. You just have to return to it. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, don't try to fix the world. Fix your focus. Come back to the breath. Come back to the present. Say to yourself, right now, I'm watching. I don't have to hold this. I don't have to become this. This is how you protect your peace. Not by running away from life, but by learning how to live without absorbing its chaos. And over time, as you strengthen this inner stillness, you'll find that nothing outside you has the power to shake what's inside. You don't become harder. You become clearer, more grounded, more awake. You no longer drown in the waves. You become the ocean. There's a kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from doing too much, but from caring too much about everything, about everyone, all at once. You try to be kind, compassionate, present. You want to be informed, supportive, responsive. And yet, day by day, you feel your light fading. Not because you've lost your heart, but because you've spread it too thin. Like a single candle trying to light every room in a vast mansion, your flame begins to flicker. This is where Buddhist wisdom offers a gentle but profound reminder. Care deeply, but not widely. It doesn't mean becoming cold. It doesn't mean turning your back on the world. It means learning to care wisely. Because when care has no direction, it becomes a burden. But when it has clarity, it becomes a gift. In today's world, we are constantly pulled in every direction. Notifications, headlines, crises, endless needs. And in the effort to be everywhere, we end up being nowhere fully. We carry causes that aren't ours. We fight battles that drain us. We respond to every voice, even when it drowns out our own. And quietly, we burn out. The truth is, not everything is yours to carry. And real peace begins the moment you give yourself permission to let go of what isn't. There's a story of a monk who was asked, "How do you stay so calm while the world is in chaos?" He smiled and replied, "Because I know what is mine to carry and what is not." That's the kind of clarity we're missing. The clarity to discern what truly deserves your care, your energy, your presence, and what doesn't. This is not indifference. This is discernment. It's understanding that compassion without boundaries is not compassion. It's self-sacrifice. And you are never meant to abandon yourself in the name of being kind. Caring deeply doesn't mean saying yes to everyone. It means saying yes to what aligns with your soul. There's a quiet strength in being able to say, "I see this. I feel for it, but I do not need to hold it." There is power in choosing where your attention goes, in directing your love like a beam of light instead of scattering it like mist. Ask yourself honestly, am I being nourished by what I give my energy to, or am I being drained? Sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is to step back, to protect your flame, to say no, not because you don't care, but because you care enough to stay whole. Let go of the need to be everywhere. You don't need to be the healer of every wound, the answer to every question, the comfort to every soul. That's not your burden to bear. Your job is not to light the entire world. Your job is to keep your light alive so that those who are meant to find you in the dark can. In Buddhist teachings, compassion is never careless. It's rooted in awareness. It's not about quantity. It's about presence. One act of true, focused compassion carries more weight than 1,000 scattered efforts done in exhaustion. So reflect. What am I giving my energy to that no longer aligns with my values? What burdens have I taken on that were never mine to begin with? What part of me believes that I must always say yes in order to be worthy? You don't have to stretch yourself thin to prove your goodness. You don't have to carry every sorrow to show your heart is open. You just have to care wisely. Protect your peace. Guard your energy. And remember, when your care is clear, your light doesn't fade. It shines brighter. There's a quiet truth that echoes through every Buddhist teaching. Attachment is the root of suffering. We hear that often. But what does it really mean? It means this: the tighter you cling to how life should be, the more you suffer when life isn't that way. There's probably something in your life right now that feels unbearably heavy. A dream you're gripping with all your might. A version of yourself you're afraid to release. A relationship that no longer feels right, but you're still holding on. And that weight, it doesn't come from the thing itself. It comes from your grip. That's the subtle trap of attachment. We attach to identities, to outcomes, to roles we've outgrown. We say things like, I have to succeed, or they can't leave me, or this is who I am. And when life challenges that image, we don't just feel discomfort, we feel like we're breaking. But here's the truth. Non-attachment is not detachment. It's not indifference. It's not coldness. It's not giving up. It's love without control. It's ambition without obsession. It's showing up fully while trusting the outcome to unfold as it must. Non-attachment is like watching a leaf drift down a river. You don't try to stop it. You don't chase it. You just witness its journey. That's what peace looks like. Not forcing, not resisting, just being in flow with life. So many people suffer, not because life is painful, but because they've built a cage around how they think life should go. When reality doesn't match that script, their whole world shakes. But reality never promised to follow your plan. Life is not here to fulfill your expectations. Life is here to grow you, to teach you, to open you. And sometimes, that means breaking the plans you clung to the most. When you release your attachment to how things must be, you create space for how things can be. This is where freedom begins. Not when life is perfect, but when your peace no longer depends on it. Letting go doesn't mean losing. It means you're brave enough to stop forcing something to stay the same. It means you stop saying, this must work, and instead say, whatever happens, I will meet it with presence. Think about it. How much of your anxiety comes not from what is, but from the fear of losing what you're clinging to? The career, the identity, the approval, the plan. When you let go, not mentally, but in your heart, something shifts. A lightness arrives, a quiet confidence. Not because you don't care, but because you finally trust that peace doesn't come from holding on. It comes from loosening your grip. That's the paradox of freedom. The more you let go, the more you have. The less you chase, the more you attract. The less you need, the lighter you become. And it's in that lightness where clarity is born. Ask yourself now, what am I clinging to that no longer feels true? What expectations are weighing down my spirit? What identities have I outgrown, but still wear out of habit? You don't have to abandon your dreams. You don't have to walk away from love. But you do have to let go of the illusion that you can control how it all unfolds. Love deeply. Dream boldly. But hold it all with open hands. Because when you release your grip, you don't lose your power. You reclaim it. And that is the quiet, radiant freedom of non-attachment. Between what happens to you and how you respond, there is a sacred space, a breath, a pause, a moment where everything can change. But most people miss it. They live in reaction, quick, automatic, unconscious. Someone says something hurtful, and the words fly back before they even notice. A plan unravels, and anger rushes in like a fire. The body tightens. The voice rises. The ego takes over. And after the storm passes, regret arrives. Why did I say that? Why did I let them get to me? But what if you could catch that moment, just for a second? What if you could stand still inside yourself while the world kept spinning? That is the practice of conscious response. That is the path of mindfulness. The Buddha taught that real power lies not in controlling the world, but in mastering the mind. And the first step in that mastery is learning the difference between reaction and response. Reaction is impulsive. It's driven by fear, pride, or habit. It comes from the ego's need to defend, to attack, to prove. Response, on the other hand, is intentional. It arises from awareness, from stillness, from wisdom. Picture a clear, calm lake. When undisturbed, it reflects the sky with perfect clarity. But when agitated, the reflection is lost in ripples and chaos. Your mind is the same. When reactive, it distorts everything. When still, it sees clearly. We are not taught to pause. We are taught to act fast, speak fast, live fast. But in truth, one moment of stillness can save you hours of pain. Next time you feel triggered, stop. Before the words spill, before the emotion explodes, take a breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Return to your body. That one breath creates space. And in that space, you remember who you are. You're not your anger. You're not the story spinning in your mind. You are the awareness watching it all. There's a Zen proverb that says, when the archer shoots for fun, he has all his skill. When he shoots for a prize, he becomes nervous. Why? Because he's no longer present. He's reacting to his fear of loss. When we react, we become controlled by our circumstances. But when we respond, we become aligned with our values. Conscious response is not passive. It is powerful. It is choosing clarity over chaos, silence over shouting, presence over pride. This doesn't mean you never speak up. It means you choose your words with care. You wait for the moment when your mind is calm, your heart is clear, and your actions come from peace, not pain. Think of a monk sitting in a noisy market, children yelling, dogs barking, vendors shouting. But he remains still, not because he's numb, but because he's rooted, anchored in awareness. That stillness is not weakness. It is mastery. The world will test you. People will provoke you. Emotions will rise. But the question is, can you respond without becoming the storm? When you do, something remarkable happens. You stop fueling the fire. You stop being tossed by every wind. You become the calm in the center of it all. So next time your buttons are pushed, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, am I reacting or responding? Choose the path of awareness. Choose response over reaction, because in that one mindful moment, you reclaim your power. After all the letting go, after the practice of observing, of caring wisely, of loosening your grip, and choosing to respond instead of react, what remains is this. Now, this moment, the breath you're taking, the sound in the background, the rise and fall of your chest. You see, peace was never waiting for you in some distant future. It was always here, quiet, steady, patiently waiting for your return. We've spent so much of our lives elsewhere, in thoughts about tomorrow, in regrets about yesterday. In stories we tell ourselves about who we should be, what we should have, where we should go. But life only ever happens here, in this moment, in this breath. And when you stop running, when you simply pause long enough to feel it, you realize that this present moment has a kind of richness nothing else can offer. It's not perfect. It's not always comfortable, but it's real, and it's alive. And in its stillness, you find everything you've been searching for, not in controlling, not in clinging, but in being. Buddhism teaches that suffering arises when we resist what is. But the moment you stop resisting, the moment you allow yourself to land in the now, you come home. You come home to the breath, to the body, to the truth of your own awareness. That's where real strength lives. Not in pushing through every storm, but in knowing how to stand still and watch the sky shift above you. Not in chasing meaning in 1,000 directions, but in receiving the meaning already present in the ordinary. So much of our modern suffering comes from forgetting this simple truth. You are already here. There's nowhere else you need to be. Nothing else you need to become in this moment. Just be. Be with what is. Not to escape it, not to fix it, but to feel its fullness and let it soften you. The more you practice presence, the more you begin to see how it holds everything. Your joy, your sorrow, your clarity, your confusion. The present moment doesn't discriminate. It simply offers space. And within that space, something beautiful happens. You begin to heal. You begin to remember that you are not your fear. You are not your past. You are not even the thoughts that run through your mind. You are the one who sees, the one who breathes, the one who is aware. Awareness is peace. Awareness is freedom. So next time you feel lost, overwhelmed, or disconnected, return. Come back to this breath, this moment, this stillness inside you that cannot be touched by the chaos of the world. You don't have to wait until your life is perfect. You don't have to fix yourself to feel peace. You only have to remember, everything you seek is already here. And if you've made it this far into this journey, thank you. Truly. This isn't just a video. It's a practice, a gentle reminder that you are not alone and that inner peace is not something you find. It's something you return to. So if this message spoke to you, take a moment to reflect, to breathe, and to share your presence with others. Like this video, subscribe to Awakening Insights, and leave a comment below sharing one moment in your life where letting go or being present brought you peace. We read every message, and your story might be the light someone else needs. Together, let's continue walking this path of presence, stillness, and spiritual awakening. Until next time, stay here, stay awake, and remember, peace was never far. It's always been within.